Good morning. Today is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. The Torah reading this Shabbos is the double portion of BeHar-BeChukotai. With this double portion, we complete the third book of the Torah, the book of Vayikra. And this week's Torah portion, I'm referring to the second part, the Parsha BeHar-BeChukotai. It's very hard to hear. The Parsha begins in BeHar-BeChukotai Telechu. God says to the Jewish people, if you follow my laws and you observe my commandments, then all sorts of blessings will come to you. You will have plenty. Your families will grow. You'll be safe. You'll be secure in Israel. All good things will happen. V'im lo tishma'u li. But then Hashem continues, if you do not listen to me, v'im b'chukotai timoasu, and if you reject my mitzvos, then we have on and on and on verses of what will happen to us. Terrible, terrible things that will happen to us as individuals. We won't have enough food. Our families will suffer. We will not be safe. We'll be attacked by our enemies. Our enemies will be victorious. And on and on and on. And of course, so much of it has happened to us repeatedly in our history, and especially since October 7th and every day since. Much of what God predicts has come true in these months, at this time. It's devastating to hear. It's shattering. And then, like every Shabbos, we have a Haftorah, passage from the prophet. This week, the Nevuah, the prophecy, is from Yirmiyahu Hanavi, Jeremiah the prophet. And as we've discussed before, the Haftorah is supposed to connect to the theme of the Torah reading, but this week's Haftorah from Yirmiyahu does not have any apparent connection to any of the themes in the Torah portion. So I want to share with you the insight of the Rav, Rabbi Yosef Soloveitchik. He said this, of course, many years ago, but I think it's particularly apt today. When the Jewish people who had left Egypt and were traveling through the desert first heard from God the words of this Torah portion of BeHar-BeChukotai, the Jewish people did not only hear from God the warning that this Torah reading has for them, the threat of what will happen to us if we do not keep the Torah, we do not keep the mitzvos. Certainly it's very, very serious. Maybe they thought it won't be relevant to us. We'll observe the Torah, we'll keep the Torah, it won't happen to us. But in this week's Torah portion, they heard something much more frightening. They heard the prediction of exile. Let me explain. Imagine you have left Egypt, the only home you have ever known, and you cannot go back. You left because of a promise by God that you will inherit a beautiful land, Israel, in which God will cause his presence to dwell in Yerushalayim and the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And because of your faith in that promise, you're willing to go on a journey through a barren desert, taking with you no food, no water, no supplies, only the promise that God will provide. And then, while you are on that journey, thinking only of the home that you have been promised towards which you are traveling, you hear these words from this week's Torah portion. V'nasati es arechem chareva. God says, I will cause your cities to be destroyed. V'hashimosi es migdashechem. And I will raise to the ground your sanctuary, your temple. Ve'eschem es zara b'goyim. And you, the Jewish people living in Israel, I'm going to scatter you among the peoples of the world. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hashem, you mean to say that it's conditional? Everything that you promised us, everything that we hope for, everything that we're traveling for, now you mean to tell us that we could lose it? This place that is our refuge, this place that is our salvation? You're now telling us that it could be taken away from us? We can't go back. We can't go anywhere else. And where we are going, now you tell us we could lose it. Imagine the frustration, the utter despair of the Jewish people who heard those words for the first time. And it is respond to that despair that we read the Haftorah, this specific Haftorah from Yirmiyahu, the prophet Jeremiah, in particular one line. Yirmiyahu says, Kisei kavod marom meirishon makom migdashenu. Makom migdashenu, the place of our temple in Jerusalem, Kisei kavod marom meirishon, will be holy forever, just like the throne of God. That's what Yirmiyahu says. In other words, Yirmiyahu is saying to us, saying to those Jews in the desert, and saying to us who are living in this exile, the place of our temple in Jerusalem, Makom Migdashenu, it may be in disrepair. It may even be destroyed, but that is only temporary. I promise, says God, it will be rebuilt. Yes, it's true. In BeHar-BeChukotai, I foretell that there will be exile. But I am promising you that if there is an exile, it will be temporary. Yes, it's been temporary for all too long. Yes, I understand that. But it will be temporary. That's the promise of God. I promise, says God, that the holiness of Jerusalem is eternal, just like God says, my throne. So yes, there will be a very difficult period, and it will be for a very long time, but you have God's promise. We have God's promise that it is temporary, and the holiness remains. Kisei kavod marom meirishon makom migdashenu. This coming Monday, we celebrate the anniversary of one gigantic step forward in the process of God's promise, which is unfolding in our time. We celebrate the reunification of Jerusalem in 1967. We celebrate the return of all of Jerusalem to Jewish control. We celebrate Yom Yerushalayim. Jerusalem Reunification Day. We celebrate that the words in the Haftorah are coming to life in our day. Yes, slowly. No, not in a straight line. But they are coming to life in our day. And with God's help on Monday, we will discuss Yom Yerushalayim. And you're certainly invited to attend davening. Here at ADATH and other places, we have special davening with Hallel, thanking Hashem for having Jerusalem. And here's what I want to point out to you. Even today, amidst the war and the hostages and the missiles and the grief and the trauma and the suffering, even today, Sivan Rahav Meir writes that it seems to be the dawn of a new era, a new Jewish era. There is a sense that there is a significant and surprising story beginning to unfold. Listen to her examples. Last week she went to attend a birthday party of a woman named Bracha Shilat. And this woman had invited other women from across the religious spectrum to celebrate her birthday and to participate in a special celebration. And she invited a guest speaker, Leah Yanai. Now, Leah Yanai is a secular woman. She's a dancer. She is a judge on an Israeli reality TV show. Leah's sister is Moran Stella Yanai. She had been taken captive on October 7th, since was released, thank God. But at this event, Leah spoke about the impact of October 7th on her life. And listen to what she said. On October 7th, our lives expanded dramatically. We witnessed darkness, the depths of which we had never seen before, but we also saw tremendous light. Here are 4 sources of light that I, Leah Yanai, gained from October 7, 2023. Listen to what she said. First of all, faith in God. The power of prayer. A recognition that there's so much that we don't understand, so much that exists beyond our physical world, and the power that our prayer can have to make things happen. That's number 1. Number 2, she said, gratitude. The audience gasped. What do you mean, gratitude on October 7th? Your sister was taken hostage into Gaza. And she explained it was a very, very difficult test. It was a sobering experience. It was an awakening. And she said that led her to her 3rd source of light, a sense of mission. A person who undergoes a shattering experience must not return to their original comfort zone. They have been tasked with a mission. We have been tasked with a mission. And when we carry out that mission, our spirit is lifted and our soul begins to heal. And every one of us has this mission, to lift our souls and to heal and to recognize the light that is there amidst the darkness, alongside the darkness. And the 4th source of light that she said is the light of unity. She said, over the course of this crazy journey, I've discovered that the Jewish people are unbreakable. We are truly a holy nation. Okay, that's Leah Yanai, a dancer who's an Israeli reality TV show host. Listen to what Elia Cohen said. Elia Cohen was a hostage for over 500 days. He was recently released. Sivan Rahav Meir interviewed him. He said that sometimes when he tells his story to his psychologist, she starts to cry and he needs to comfort her. But listen to what Elia Cohen said. He said, I could feel every prayer that you prayed on my behalf. Every mitzvah that you performed for my sake gave me strength. I could actually feel it in my body. Isn't that incredible? Every prayer that every one of us said, that every family member, that every person in Israel, that every Jew all over the world, every one of our prayers, every mitzvah that we did, Elia Cohen felt it in his body. Another hostage who was recently released, Omer Shem Tov. Omer Shem Tov recently said something that's just beyond amazing. He said while he was in captivity, and of course he was tortured and mistreated and over 500 days, he asked God how God was feeling. In other words, he connected to the pain of the Shekhinah, the concept we've discussed before, Imo Anochi Batzara. God says, I am with you when you are in pain. And so Omer Shem Tov, the beginning of his prayer was to say to God, how are you, God? You must be suffering so. And only then he would express his gratitude to God for remaining alive, and only after that would he pray for what he needed. Omer Shem Tov. Beneath the surface, we have discovered that we are connected to one another and influence one another in ways that we didn't understand before, and that this connection is stronger than all the forces that seek to drive us apart. Kisei Kavod, Marom Rishon, Makom Mikdoshenu. The place of our temple is eternally holy, just like the throne of God. Even today we see it coming. Especially today, we see it coming. And may God fulfill this promise to us completely and soon. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.